Now, Rosie, I'm going to do a classic dish, which is sort of street food. If you're walking down the street in Japan, you'll see a truck with a deep fryer in it. They make karaage chicken. Sometimes they make it with pork, chicken, and you can make it with other things. So they call them vegetables.
Indeed they do.
We're not going to do that now. We've had enough vegetables already. It's time to have some meat.
Yep.
Now, I've got some beautiful pork fillet, and I love pork fillet. It's really tender. It's really quite lean. And the beauty of it is, if you've got Nana coming over for dinner and you want something that's really tender, maybe her teeth aren't that good, pork fillet is a great way to do it.
Good to know.
What I'm going to do is take this piece off here. This is the sinew, silver skin they call it. Easy way to take it off. Pop your knife underneath it and just take it forward like that. And then back like this, and you remove it. Now, what I'm going to do with the pork fillet is cut it nice and thin. Now, if you wanted to, you can cut it into dice or, you know, long bits. But I think nice round pieces like this is just as easy. And I'm going to cut it all the way through here. You can see how lean it is. It's
got an amazing colour, isn't it?
It is. It's got a little bit of darkness to it, but pork is a light of meat. It's a beautiful meat, nice and tender. Now, what I've got there is some garlic and ginger.
Working.
I want you to microplane the garlic and ginger straight into the bowl because that's our marination bowl. That's where all the action...
bowl.
Exactly. That's where all the action's going to happen. And I'll drop these pieces in here. Now, into that pork, I'm going to put some sake, a little drizzle of sake on the top there, about a tablespoon of that. A little bit of sugar for some sweetness. Although you're sweet enough, but, you know, I need all the help I can get. About a teaspoon is all you need. I'm also going to put some soy sauce. We need some lovely soy sauce on there.
Bit salty.
It does. Gives it a salty sort of flavour. And I've got about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half on there. And some heat. We need a bit of chilli in there, don't we?
We do.
So I've got some sriracha chilli. And what I'll do is, this is nice and thick. A little squeeze of that. About a tablespoon as well. I'm going to season it up, so I'm going to put a little bit more salt on there. And if you can reach across there and grab some pepper and give me a good twist of pepper on there.
You got it.
Now, the trick is to marinate it. And when we do marinate stuff, we'd like to leave it in there for an hour, you know, 2 hours, or even overnight.
Relax in it, take a swim.
Exactly. I mean, the pork little pieces is having a swim in here. What I'm going to do is just mix it around with the spoon here and make sure all that ginger and garlic goes through everything. Now, if you want, you can use a spoon like this, but what I like to do when I'm doing this, I like to get my hands in there. I know you're probably thinking, oh, don't get your hands in there, it's dirty, but my hands are really, really washed and really clean. And the beauty of using your hands, you can massage it and make sure you mix it around. I'm a chef, I've been doing this for years, and by mixing it around with your hands, you can make sure that you've got it combined really easily. Give it a bit of a shake like that. Now,
you could change this meat as well, couldn't you? You could change it, you could have fish, chicken as well.
Anything you want in there. Now, I've got the little strainer over there. What I'm going to do is sift in, or you're going to sift in, some potato flour, which gives it a lovely starchy flavour, and also some corn flour. I've got half a cup of potato flour and a quarter of a cup of cornstarch in there. Now, of course, that will depend on the amount of pork you got in there. So what you're looking for is a nice coating on the outside. Now, I've also got one egg over there. If you can grab that egg as well and put that in there. While you're cracking that egg, and I'm going to mix it around, I've got some black sesame seeds, optional. I just love the colour that they give. You know, a few of them in there, about a tablespoon, and I've also got some sesame seeds here. These are not the toasted ones because they are going to cook in the fryer, and they will taste up themselves.
Nutrition in there too, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Now, what I'm going to do is get my hands in here, and this is the fun part. Now, what I'm going to do is make sure that gets a really good coating of all those flours and mix it all around. Now, do get my hands in here because the potato and the corn flour are quite sticky. And what I'll do is mix that around like that, and you'll see that it's got this coating on the outside of it. You can still see the pork, and you can still see all of the batter on the outside of it. And I've got my oil already on, and you can see I've got my thermometer in it. I say it every single time, when you're deep frying with oil, be really, really safety conscious. Always have a thermometer, keep the kids away, and keep an eye on it. So in it goes. It's going to start sizzling away very quickly. It's about 160 degrees. You can see a little bit of bubble there. I'll turn it up a little bit as I add the pork, so that way it'll start to heat up nicely. And I'll just keep adding pieces of pork so I don't overload the fryer. And in a couple of minutes, the pork will be nice and crispy. We'll take it out, let it rest. I'll serve it with a little bit of spice mayonnaise. This will be delicious. Rosie, I've taken them out. I'm going to let them drain a little bit.
They look great.
But while I'm draining them, I'm going to put a little bit more salt on the top of them just to make them even more flavoursome. We need a sauce to go with it. I've got some mayonnaise there, some Kewpie mayo, and to that, big squirt of that, like you stole it. That's it. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. And to that, I'm going to add a little bit of the sriracha for extra little bit of heat, and also some soy, just a tiny little bit of soy in there. That's it, that should be enough.
Lovely.
A couple of drops of soy there. I've got a spatula over there. If you can stir that around and combine it all. And while you're doing that, Rosie, I've got a little bag here and I'm going to grab a couple of these little pieces. Crispy little pork Karaage
No, I would
straight
love
in
to
there.
do that. I think with some zucchini batons or something like that. I would love that.
Zucchini would be fantastic.
Snake
Or a little,
palm.
little eggplant, Japanese oriental eggplant. I'm going to grab a few like that and I would serve it like that on a little plate there like that. A little lemon wedge on the side. Maybe some spring onion on the side there like that. Yeah,
Oh,
pop
it
in.
looks like real street food.
It
Loving
does,
that.
it does. And maybe even some dried flake chili over the top of that to give it a bit of colour. Now, that is going to have a nice little dipping sauce on the side of it. And what I'll do is I'll pop that on the side. It looks great like that. It's a nice, simple little dish. And I'm going to have a taste of it because I love pork and I love this dish with a bit of batter on the outside. Dip it into the sauce. You could just see me on the streets of Japan. Maybe a cold, refreshing beverage in one hand and a little piece of pork in the other.
I can really visualise that, but I think I'm going to have to just send you to sit on the pavement in Melbourne. But I think you'll still really enjoy it.
Now I can double dip. I'm going to put this in here. They've done some great Japanese dishes. It's really simple, really quick and really tasty. Yours was beautiful, Rosie.
I always knew I was going to love the Japanese episode, but it just reminds me how clean, how lean, how fabulous things are in Japan when we cook Japanese cuisine. It's divine.
Especially the pork.